I never liked my friend that much. Her name was Jess. When she first came to my school, I didn't really take that much notice of her. She seemed like an average popular girl until I overheard her say that she was a geek at heart. After that, I took a shine to her. She was pretty and kind. Not a slutty personality like most of the girls at my school have. I went to a party and she was there. I couldn't help but notice her ocean blue eyes. She came up to me and asked me if I wanted to go outside with her. I was ecstatic, as no girl has asked me to do anything with them before. We started talking, and after a while, she went back in because it was getting cold. So did I. When we went back in, she didn't really take that much notice of me until the party finished, and she asked me to walk her home. I was kind of expecting her to just go inside her house after saying goodbye, but instead she asked me out. I was pretty happy that I got a girlfriend. Girls don't tend to go out with geeks, but I'm guessing this was an exception. A little while later, around our 14th date, she told me that she's a big fan of the Fallout series. Fallout 3 was her favorite, and it was my favorite too. She told me that she had created her own mod for it, but because it was so big, she repackaged it as an .exe file and put it on a floppy disk. I didn't know that floppy disk could hold around a 130 megabyte file, but I found out it was a high-capacity floppy disk. The reason she used floppy disks is because my DVD drive wasn't working that well at the time. When I got home, I got my USB floppy disk drive out and loaded it. I wondered why the exe was called M417.exe, but she just told me over Skype that the reason she had it at M417.exe was because she wanted it to sound cool. There was another thing to this exe. It was a password protected. She told me that the password was 851212. It was kind of weird, but I just went along with it. When I installed the mod, my computer got blue screen. It didn't surprise me. My computer forgot them at the time, just not lately. I found out that the mod installed just fine when I rebooted the computer. The mod was pretty good. You had to assassinate some enclave leader that she made. I didn't know why the exe was 130 megabytes, as there was little speaking and the quest was fairly short. When I looked into the files, there were some textures that were about 6 megabytes each, along with some sound clips which were around 10 megabytes, made a player. She told me that just for me, she made a player house with some of the dates we had together. There were photos and some of the things we said to one another. I thought it was really sweet of her to do that. When I finally found the player house, she went offline. When I went inside the house, there were pictures of her and her past boyfriends, but their faces were crossed out and it said victim 1 through 4 on each of them. There was a holodisc underneath each picture saying how they died. Each one was in her voice and how she'd done it. I was getting kind of creeped out by now, so I saved and quit to the desktop. I thought it was time to go to sleep as I had an exam the next day. Everything was fine until I saw a PNG on my desktop. I wondered what it was. It said victim 5. It hit me. That password, if the letters were numerics, it would translate to hell. I was getting pretty scared and I was wondering whether to look at it or not. I decided to. It was a picture of us on our first date, except my face was crossed out and it said, "See you tomorrow, lover," at the bottom.